Hey guys, it's Amber. So today I'm going to be showing you two different ways to get summer waves. Now I am a professional hairstylist, and a lot of times people come and they want to get like a really loose wave, and they're not sure, like, is it a curling iron, is it a crimper, is it a waver, like how do I get that look, is it a perm? It's never a perm, just FYI. And so I'm going to show you one way you can get a really pretty wave with a curling iron and one way you can get a pretty wave with a waver, kind of show you the differences of them, and so you can see which look would be right for you. So you can do your waves like this or this. So I'm going to start off with a curling iron. Now, typically when people want to get a big wave, they think they need to go for a jumbo barrel. So today I'm going to be using a 25mm curling iron. This is the Titanium Pro Series from Duval. I like that this curling iron isn't tapered. I do have a different one that's tapered, which does give it a more messy curly look, but when I'm wanting to do the waves, I don't necessarily want them to be tighter at the bottom, so I do like just a straight barrel for this. So this curling iron is really cool because it is really lightweight, but it is a good quality curling iron. I have some that are so heavy that it's like your arm like starts to get tired, and this one is really nice because it is lighter weight, and it also has a temperature control, which I really appreciate. I do not need to turn my curling iron up at 450 degrees with my fine thin hair, so I appreciate it when there is like some sort of temperature control, because it really helps with keeping your hair healthy if you can just turn it to the temperature that you need. But if you do have thick, coarse hair, you can turn it all the way up and you can get the results that you're looking for. So this curling iron does have an instant heat, so I think it's like within 60 seconds it gets hot. It also will turn off, auto shut off in 60 minutes. So when you're done curling your hair, you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, did I forget to turn off my curling iron? It does have a cool tip, which is nice. You don't have to worry about like accidentally hitting yourself or burning yourself when you are curling the back of your hair. Another nice feature is that this bottom part twists, so it actually twists when you're doing your hair instead of like just knotting up and rolling up, which can be really annoying. And it does have a dual voltage, so you could take this curling iron if you're traveling outside of the US, which is really cool, or if you live outside the US. And it also comes with the glove. I did appreciate that this has like a full glove. I have other ones that come with like just like little finger pieces, and I'm like, what good is that? Like, they're falling off, they're, you know, they get in the way. All right, so let me get this thing plugged in and I will show you what it does. All right, so I turned it on and it has a digital display, so it's gonna tell me how hot it is. So it's starting at 210, so I'm gonna go ahead and go up to, so it says it's at 360, which I think is a good kind of place for me to start. And I like to start off by making sure that my hair is combed through really nicely. When you are curling your hair, you want to make sure you're not having any tangles and things like that. And then I do like to separate it out and start at the bottom. Now, when you're curling your hair, using a heat protectant is going to be super important because you're not going to want to put damage onto your hair. And when I'm choosing a heat protectant, it depends on what kind of style that I want. Because I'm going for a more soft style, I'm going to use something that's going to protect from heat, but also have a soft to the touch feel. So I am using the Good Behavior. This is a protein smoothing spray. So this gives you 450 heat protection. It also is like a keratin-like treatment in a can, so it helps actually smooth and improve the health of your hair when you're using it. It's really awesome if you are straightening your hair and you have curly hair. Highly recommend this, but also works on us straight-haired gals when we just want a little protection and a nice soft finish. I'm going to start off with my curling iron in this hand, which is going to be important later. And I'm going to be actually putting my glove on this hand. And then I'm just going to start off with my section. And I'm going to start by wrapping my hair around the curling iron, going backwards. And I mean, you can see I kind of hold on to it here just till I can kind of feel that heat coming through. And I'll drop the curl down. Again, like if I was just leaving this, this might be a little more curly than a wavy look, but I'm going to let it cool in that curl form, so when I brush it through, it'll have some curl memory to it. So basically I am going to be curling all of this section until the middle back of my head this same way. When I get to this front section over here, most people, it's a little bit more obvious when you get to the top, but most people will start going like this. The problem is you're not curling, even though you're curling the hair back, you're not curling it in the same way. And so that's why you'll sometimes get one side that you really like, and then the other side just looks kind of slightly different, and you're just like, why doesn't it look the same? It's because you're just not holding the curling iron at the same angle and wrapping it at the same angle. So what I like to do is, yes, it does take a little extra time, but I feel like it's worth it. I'll actually switch my glove to the other hand, and then I will separate my piece of hair, and I'll use this hand again, go in like this, and then wrap the hair this way around the barrel. I can kind of roll it down. Careful of that ear. And that way, this is going to give me the same looking curl as I have on the other side. All right, so I have this bottom section curled, so I'm going to go ahead and let down my next section. My hair is pretty fine, so I can get away with little thicker sections. I like to do little thicker sections just so it doesn't get too many different curl patterns, and then it's a little harder to make a wave. So I just try to make sure that I'm getting enough hair so it's not going to be like tiny curls, but not so much hair that it won't curl, if that makes any sense at all. So this is kind of where I'm going to part mine off. So I'm going to spray it again. Sometimes I'll just pick up the hair that I let down, spray the ends. Also, when I get to sections where I have a lot of layers, I don't necessarily curl the short layers by themselves. I just kind of blend them into the longer pieces so that it'll make one continuous wave. If I curl the really short layers by themselves, you're going to see the ends of those, and they're going to just make a kind of a different look, where I'm wanting more of a wave look. I just want those pieces to be kind of smoothed down in. Sometimes people ask me, like, how long do I leave the curling iron in my hair? Well, when I start feeling that my hair is hot, I will take it out. It could be longer if your hair is thicker, and shorter if your hair is finer. It also depends on, like, I might hold it a little longer because I've turned my curling iron down, where you might turn your curling iron up and not have it on there as long. So you just kind of have to play around with it and see what works best for your hair type. I'd always say start more on the low side and work up, because you can always turn it up. Okay, so this is going to be my last section on this side, but I am going to subsection this side just because I have a side part here. So I'm going to grab this hair I let down, spray it. So when I'm doing this, I don't necessarily want to take it way up here, because I want the curl pattern to be falling this way and not this way. So I do kind of hold it down like this, and then let it be kind of more where it naturally fall instead of pulling it more to the top of my head. That way the waves will match up a little bit better. So right here on the top, I do have some like shorter pieces. So I'm just gonna let those be where they are. I'm not gonna curl them individually. I'm just gonna let them blend into the long strand and go down like that. Of course, after I'm done curling, I'll look in the back and make sure I haven't missed anything, but usually I just try to do it by feel. Taking it in this hand, getting my section here ready, up and over, holding it down, kind of rolling it into my head. I'm not really like twisting the hair as I'm wrapping it. I'm leaving it pretty flat. All right, and here is my last little section. So I'm going to take whatever I want this front piece to be. I'm going to hold it down, bring my curling iron over, and then wrap. All right, so now you can see I have all of my curls done. Then I'm going to take a wide tooth comb, and I am just going to simply comb through my hair. And then I'll just kind of push the waves in like so. Goes from being a curly look to a wavy look. baby.
Can I do you? Because I'm sad.
Why are you sad?
I missed it.
Oh, honey. Once I get that combed out, I can just take some spray and just kind of, you can see where those kind of waves line up, and it's not really like a curly look on the top. It just gives you more of that soft wave. And obviously, the longer your hair is, the more waves you're gonna have. So here is my first look. So I do have a coupon code for this curling iron. You can get it for 70% off. They have not paid me or sponsored this video in any way. They just asked me to review the curling iron, and I actually really like it. So the coupon code is Amber Rainbow. You can use that on their website. I'll put the information down below with links, and you guys can get 70% off this curling iron if you guys want to try this look. All right, so now let's move on to day 2 and look number 2. All right, so the second tool I want to talk about today is the Swerve and Curve from Bedhead. So I purchased this from Ulta, and the reason why it's called the Swerve and Curve is actually a dual tool. If you use it like this, it's a wide kind of like almost like a triple barrel meets waver crimper style. And then if you actually lock it on the top, it is like an oblong. So if you had like longer hair, you could just wrap it around the barrel and get kind of a loose, kind of swervy, wavy curl. And so that's why it's called the Swerve and Curve. But yeah, so I'm going to show you guys how I use this. For this, I like to make sections that are a little bit thicker, because if I go too fine, my hair looks frizzy. Now, if your hair's thicker, you can go a little bit smaller sectioning, but I like to get a pretty big section and then clip it up. And for this, I like to use a little harder holding setting spray. So I'm going to bring out my Redken Hot Sets. Now with this kind of iron, because I find it's not as, I find them to be a little more damaging to the hair, I try to make sure that I really get a good amount of heat protectant on there, and then I will comb it through. So this iron does come with a temperature control, so I'm just turning it to medium because I don't need high heat. But sometimes I've used it on low if I want it a little lighter. When I use this, I like to look at it and see where the top part is going up, and I like to make sure that's always pointing up. Otherwise, I get a bigger crease at the very top of my hair, and I'm not too fond of that. So I'll just take my section of hair, and then I just kind of clamp on it for a couple of seconds. And then I try to line it up and then go all the way down the strand, and then I just let it cool. I try to let the hair kind of fall in its natural fall pattern and not raise it up too much, because if you raise it up too much, then the hair kind of separates from each other and it makes it look a little more frizzy. So I'm going to do all of this, and then I will get up to the top and show you what I do there. But it's pretty simple. You can see I just clamp it, move down, clamp it, move down, clamp it. So not too much to show you there. All right, so when I get up to the top, again, I'm going to make sure that the part going up is facing upwards, and then I'm going to kind of leave the hair laying down and then clamp. And in case you're wondering, no, I don't look at the back. I just kind of feel it as I go along. And then I look in the mirror afterwards and I fix anything that needs to be fixed, because that's kind of how I roll. So for the last section, you could pull it up this way and clamp it, but when it falls down, it's going to separate more. And to me, it just looks a little bit more frizzy. So I like to just kind of hold it down a little bit more like this and do it that way. Sometimes if I get a little bit of a line up there, I will just kind of go back in and kind of smooth it, or I will use my flat iron. But I don't like to finger through it too much. I just kind of like, you can just break it apart softly, because again, on my hair, it ends up looking a little bit too frizzy if I do that. But you also could spray some like beach spray if you wanted to make it more textured and piecey, or spray wax would be really cute, especially the second day. But here is how the waver looks. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys to see what the different styles of waves are. So if you're kind of curious, like you think waves and it's like, what kind of waves are you looking for? Kind of loose flowy waves, mermaid style waves, and now you know how to do both. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Don't forget to check out my links down below if you guys are interested in getting either iron, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.